Hi, welcome to Promo Insiders, an ASI media podcast that covers the issues that matter most to the promotional products industry. I'm Chris Ruvo for ASI. Today I'll be talking with Brandon Mackay. Brandon, of course, is the CEO of Top 40 Supplier SnugZ and a member of Counselor's Power 50 list of Promo's most influential people. As impressively to me, he's also a super nice guy who's not afraid to be honest and transparent. And as such, he and the SnugZ team, which embodies that same character, admit that they didn't have the greatest 2022 when it came to service levels. But after a ton of hard work, SnugZ is coming into 2023 in a much stronger position. Brandon's here to talk openly about 2022's challenges, things like what caused them and what has been learned. But even more importantly, he's here to share how SnugZ has fixed things and is ready for a great new year of helping distributors succeed. Brandon, thanks for speaking with me today.
Absolutely. I always love chatting with you.
All right, awesome. So let's jump into the first question. So just what were some of the factors that caused some of the issues that you experienced in 2022? When I say you, of course, I mean SnugZ.
Absolutely. So SnugZ had the awesome opportunity to be able to acquire a legacy business
Hmm.
inside the promotional products arena of
Hmm.
Sweden, and a great foundational business, great operation, great people. We closed on the deal right before Christmas in 21,
Hmm.
and then obviously went through the holidays there, and then got boots on the ground there in California where they were based the first part of the year. Just really tried to devise a plan of what was best for the business,
Hmm.
and tried to do it as quickly as we could. But there's a lot of moving pieces. I think people are like, "Oh, you bought a business, don't mess it up." But when you're talking thousands of SKUs and hundreds of employees and multiple site locations and ERP systems and phones and just logistical
Hmm.
issues to the ends of the earth. It's a
Hmm.
really complicated process, and I think we were a little underweighted as far as
Hmm.
talent to be able to
Hmm.
throw at this. But I think what I went into this looking at is we've had a lot of businesses get acquired in
Hmm.
promo over the years, and we really focused on just ripping the band-aid off once. So
Hmm.
we didn't want this to be a multi-year integration. We just said we want to condense this down to a very short window of time and pay the piper once and not
Okay.
keep this going on year after year after year.
Hmm. All right, very good. So the integration was obviously a huge part of some of the challenges. Was there other? I don't even want to call them ancillary issues. Was there other issues as well? Like labor was a challenge, for instance, for a lot of suppliers. Is that something that factored in here too?
Yeah, absolutely. Labor was such a challenge last year, and we finally came to the conclusion in about May that our abilities to leave Sweden where they were and how they
Hmm.
operated was not going to happen. So they had a lease termination coming up
Hmm.
in late summer. So
Hmm.
we had to decide: do we leave Sweden where it is, or do we split it between our Texas and Utah facilities?
Hmm.
Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of IP on the employee side. They were able to
Hmm.
decorate products for decades, and a mind-bending amount of inventory that had to be moved. I mean, we moved
Hmm.
150, plus semis worth of goods and equipment out of that
Wow.
facility. Um, Obviously, we had to retrain the staff. So we had
Hmm.
about 150 jobs that we had to create, retrain, and have them
Hmm.
be operational day one. It wasn't like we could bring the goods to Utah and then hire someone and expect it to go out the door at the same velocity. We had to have
Hmm.
new talent being able to equal old talent day one, being able to find the goods, get the stuff put away. I mean, moving a business that's fully operational and deployed is
Hmm.
way more challenging than moving, trying to just do a startup.
Okay.
And it was a lot, is all I could tell you. Obviously, last year was a very expensive trucking time, so
Sure. Yes,
obviously
absolutely.
a good chunk of the materials that we moved, like I said, over 150 semi full of goods, materials, boxes, was moved kind of between July and August. So it's
Hmm.
probably one of the most expensive time on record to move anything. Um, and outside of just the move, I mean, just to clear up, integrating businesses are hard, but when you integrate a business almost from scratch, it was overwhelming and daunting. We did
Hmm.
ERP last year, so we brought them onto our software platform.
Mm-hmm.
We did our sales team synergies last year. We did a brand new phone integrations for all locations last year. We centralized on one domain last year, which is an
Great.
IT, which is very, very heavy on the IT team.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously solidified on one single platform on the website too. So redid a website last year. I mean, we got probably 4 years worth of work done in 10 months.
I was going to say you did a half decade's worth of work in about a year. Yeah, pretty incredible thing to see. So amid all that transition and flux, that's where some of the issues that maybe distributors experienced. That's what was behind that. That's fair to say, right? That's why they were
Yep.
encountering some of the friction they did, because there were so many, chess pieces in play that you were trying to get lined up in the right way to make what was ultimately going to be a more functional business. But during that transition, it was difficult to do. How about on the like custom? Even a lot of times a distributor's interaction, right, will be with a dedicated customer service rep or a sales rep of some kind. I think you guys have beefed up in that department too, as well. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. So on the customer service side, just getting everybody between the two organizations cross-trained on each other's product selection
Mm-hmm.
was really heavy for us. Obviously, you had really seasoned, great, wonderful examples of just tenured employees on the Suite side, and then on the SnugZ side. But for them to have to develop product knowledge that they didn't know that they were going to have to kind of learn,
Mm-hmm.
January 1st, to kind of get them up to speed and trained. And then we backfilled the office overall with about another 18, 20 new customer service agents.
Okay. Okay.
And customer service for us is like ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
It's like our bench for everything. Every department steals from customer service, where it's accounting or order processing or
Mm-hmm.
sales support, or all of our managers and supervisors. They all seem to stem from customer service. That's like our go-to bench for filling almost any critical role. And to backfill and get our customer service team up and running at full tilt again was job number one for us.
Got it. Got it. All right. So this is now, thankfully, I'm sure for you is in the rear view. A lot of the heaviest lifting on that. So kind of having been through that challenging integration, having done so much, are there certain do's and don'ts you learned from that? Strategies that you think would help a successful integration, because we have seen so many mergers and acquisitions recently in the industry. So there's others kind of facing similar issues. So what are some of the big things you learned?
I think do plan on expelling a lot more energy than you ever thought that you had.
Yeah.
And so that would be my number one piece of advice. You really got to dig deep for energy. I went to California from Utah 32 times last year. Um,
32. Wow. Okay.
so you've got to dig deep for energy reserves. You've got to solidify your team around you.
Hmm.
They're going to pay as much as you're going to pay.
Hmm.
So a lot of us had two full-time jobs. We had our full-time SnugZ job,
Hmm.
which was awesome and fun. And
Hmm.
then you had your night job, which was your integration job and was your
Wow.
synergies job. And it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks, obviously. Number two, I would say you're going to have really thick skin.
Okay.
There was no shortage of backhand
Hmm.
comments
Hmm.
that were made towards us. And so you just got to have thick skin. You're doing your best to keep the transition window as slow as possible, or as low as
Hmm.
possible and small as
Right.
possible.
Right.
And so we had it defined pretty good to say, we knew that we were going to be beat up and punished between July and the end of,
Hmm.
really the end of November. But we
Okay.
knew that if we could weather this storm, that we could take it on the chin, that we would pop out into the new year in a really, really good position.
Hmm.
Three, I would say that really evaluate your budgets. So whatever
Okay.
you think you're going to pay for an integration, it's going to far supersede that. And,
Okay.
um, and lastly, I think you just got to find moments to be positive and to encourage people. So
Mhm.
for my role and a lot of the senior leadership here at SnugZ, it was part-time, employee and working hard and burning the midnight oil. But the other part of it was just becoming a really good coach and counselor, and helping people understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
You know, it's pitch dark night here. You know, it is very, very dark, but
Yeah.
you've got to really become enthusiastic and at least helping people identify that pinhole of light, because it is really, really hard. I've been in promo almost 30 years, and I've done a lot of things in my life at promo, but this was hands down the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Okay. Wow. Wow. And that's, as you say, given your track record of experience, that is saying a lot. And in addition to obviously all the technical aspects and the logistical aspects that you're dealing with that are obviously a ton. I mean, at the end of the day, we're dealing with human beings who by and large want to do a good job, and it's frustrating for them too. And when they feel like they're not able to meet what a need is when they want to, and they're working so hard to get there to be able to. So there's that there's an emotional component to that too that I could see being very challenging for a leader, so senior leadership to kind of deal with. But it seems now though, kind of that light, that pinhole of light that you mentioned is kind of has broadened significantly, and you're kind of now entering it, right? We're entering the light year in 2023, so it's a good thing. Where are folks now, and where is SnugZ now? You guys put together, I should compliment you, an excellent video, kind of re-announcing yourselves, if you will, to the industry, just kind of letting everybody know, hey, this integration's done, we're ready, was the theme of the video. Just tell us a bit about that and just where things stand now, 2023, from a SnugZ service perspective and just SnugZ in general.
So for us moving forward, we're kind of back to what we do well, and that is obviously shipping a lot of product out the door, quality related, on time, with hopefully getting back to kind of those exceptional service levels that people are used to. So we're back to measuring and KPIs and lead to lags and focusing on process improvement. We're focused back onto our marketing plan, our agenda, putting out really good content again, and just finding ways to always figure out incremental ways to get better and faster. So there's not a lot of integration issues left for us at this point. Most of it is onto the kind of the accounting teams now, and consolidating data into data warehouses so that we could get kind of this uniformed reporting. But as far as the day-to-day goes, it's back to business as usual. There's not a lot of excuses left to blame on integration at this point. So really, we're just getting back to basics and trying to improve the organization. We're a very lean-driven organization, and have been for well over a decade now. And so a lot of the pain we see in the rearview mirror, and to be honest with you, I really don't want to go back and dig those skeletons out. It's like we just want to hyper focus on going forward. And we know that people are still going to be, oh, you didn't ship this on time because you're integrating. And that's really not the case anymore. If we miss a shipment, kind of current day, if someone said, hey, we missed this order today, it would be because of an internal struggle. It has nothing to do with the integration struggle. So it could have been, something that was misinterpreted or entered incorrectly on a PO, or we had a piece of equipment go down that was critical for us to be able to produce on a day in and day out basis, but really nothing related to suite integration at this point.
And that's a huge takeaway. Maybe if people listening to this get nothing else, especially distributors, it would be that those integration struggles are now in the past, and it's more back to what you'd expect, business as usual for SnugZ/Suita. What are you excited about for 2023 from a SnugZ or industry perspective? Because it's like you say, we've kind of emerged here, and where are things going in a good way?
I think for me, number one, and I think I can speak for almost everybody on our team, they're excited just to do their day job. They're excited to not have multiple things that are critical due every single day. So kind of just getting back to who we are is the most exciting part of the day for us. I think getting back to being able to interact on an industry level is exciting for us. A lot of us were unable to attend a lot of industry functions and galas and trade shows, and because we were up past our neck in integration issues. So I think getting back to rubbing elbows with industry players is exciting for us this year.
Mm-hmm.
Working on a proactive agenda is exciting this year, to where we are focused on sales and sales goals and quality and KPIs. That's what makes us tick.
Mm-hmm.
We are very scoreboard driven organization, so being able to see on a daily basis winning and losing is exciting for us now.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's really interesting perspective. Any final thoughts for anybody before we finish up here? I do so much appreciate you coming on and chatting with me.
Yeah, I mean, final thoughts for me is I learned probably 10 years worth of hardcore structural integration in a year. I
Well, now you
learned a
can
lot of,
start a side business, consulting and integrations, I guess. Yeah.
man, I could sell buckets of integration knowledge. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the amazing people that I get to work with daily. I mean, we have some freaking amazing people here. I learned a lot about the resiliency of them and their abilities, and the willingness of a lot of our families to be able to stand behind us as we went through a really hard year and were absent for a lot of things. I learned that we have really good customers. I
Mhm,
mean, for all the customers that absolutely pistol whipped us all year,
mhm,
we had lots of customers that said, "Hey, we get it. We understand. We know this will pass. We believe
mhm,
in you." And we have great customers inside the promotional products industry.
mhm,
Overall, I would say that, there's some things that I would definitely think about doing over,
mhm,
but we chose to play the hand we were dealt,
mhm,
and I think we played it the best way we could. I think the fact that we consolidated into a very short window of time was something that I'm glad we did now.
mhm,
At the time, there were some pretty ominous dark days there, but
mhm.
I'm glad that it's over. But just overall, if you do acquire a business or you do integrate a business, just work hard, man. Roll up your
Mhm.
sleeves, enjoy the ride. But most of all, it will end. It will pass.
Yeah. I'll share this with you before we finish up. Um, I was on one of the industry forums online, and your video had been posted in there, the We're Ready video, and I saw more than a few comments that were really positive reactions to it. And one of them was that, hey, in so many, I'm paraphrasing, but I trust and believe in good people. And when good people are honest like this, like I trust them and I'm ready to send business their way again. So there's maybe something you could share with the team if you
There you go.
if you haven't already, because I do think there is grace in this industry, and I do think people who've been helped by Snug so much over the years, when I say people, I mean distributors, are aware that you guys are a good, honest company and are doing the best to get through this, and that there's better days ahead now that this integration's passed. So yeah, so that's why we wanted to have you on here, to just kind of share that with the industry, that the snugs that people are so used to dealing with is back in a big way for 2023.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to use this platform, but I'm super proud of our team. I'm very bullish on our future, and I'm excited to see where we're going to go. I definitely think we're headed for the stars, and we are just so excited for a year of just working at SnugZ.
Nice. Awesome. Brandon, thank you so much again for joining me.
All right, thank you, Chris. You guys have a wonderful day.
All right. Bear with me. Sorry.